discuss the basic idea of joint and solidary obligation. So, um, what else to discuss there? Okay, just be mindful of the words or keywords that suggest joint obligation or solidary obligation. Okay, so kasi in a given problem, okay, say for example, on your midterms, I will not say naman na A, B, and C are jointly liable or A, B, and C are joint creditors. Okay? Most of the time, or if not all, hindi sasabihin ng problem whether they are joint, okay, whether they are solidary liable. So um you have to get keywords that will tell you a joint obligation to. Oh, this is solidary. And what are those keywords? Okay. In your book, it mentioned words used to indicate joint liability are magkomunikado, okay, pro rata, proportionately, or we promise to pay. Okay, those are the words that indicate joint liability. Whereas for solidary liability, normally ang very used dito are jointly and severally. Okay, don't be confused by the term jointly. Okay, if it's followed by jointly and severally, okay, that means they are the creditors and the debtors are solidarily liable. What other words that indicate solidarity? Individually liable or collectively liable. Uh, in solidaria, in solido. Okay, those words are mentioned in your book. Okay, so have you have to get them, sorry. Because otherwise, as mentioned, solidarity is not presumed. Okay? The law says you cannot hindi for example, may given problem, hindi mo masabi na joint or solidary. You cannot assume na, this is solidary obligation. Why? Because the law favors less obligation. And between joint and solidary, anong mas less liability for debtors? Jointly, 'di ba? Because why? Okay, in our example, 300,000, all right, if they are jointly liable, each debtor is liable only for 100,000. Okay, whereas if it's solidary, one of the debtors is liable for 300,000. Okay, so anong mas less liability? The joint kind of obligation. Okay, so solidarity is not presumed. Okay, you have to understand and analyze the problem whether it says they are jointly liable or they are severally or solidarily liable. All right. So what else to discuss here? Okay, you read the rest of the provisions, but take note of Article 1210. Okay, 1211. You mark class ha because it might be asked in your midterms. Um, 1212, 1213, 1214, 1216, 1217, and 1218. Okay. Sorry. Add yun na din yung 1220. Alright. So, those provisions, I'm very sure you've read them. Okay. I think we did we did not meet for 2 weeks, I guess. Okay. So, you read them, most likely one of them will be asked in midterms. But in essence, you have to get the whole idea of the joint and solidary obligations. Alright. Okay, let's move on to divisible obligation. Si Miss Sophia is late. She's asking to join. Mark him as ano na ha, absent ah. But for purposes of discussion, I will admit her. Para hindi naman siya zero knowledge on her midterm. Okay, but she's absent. Aha. Okay. So any volunteer to discuss divisible, indivisible? Because as I mentioned, yung mga walang recitation during the prelims week do not have prelim exam. Okay, so basically, if you are perfect attendance but you do not have recitation, your grade will be around 65 to 70. So it's still not passing. So I encourage everyone who do not have a recitation to volunteer. Okay, otherwise, yun nga lang, bagsak kayo ada prelims. Your attendance will not save you. Okay, so volunteer, discuss divisibility, indivisible and divisible obligation. Basically, yes. Any comment, question, Chulamite?
Ma'am, volunteer po.
Here. Oh, sorry, sorry. Sige. Sige, Miss Alberto.
Bali, Article 1223 po.
Yes.
So when we talk about Article 1223, it explains that whether the thing involved in an obligation can be divided or not doesn't change the rules that apply to obligations in general. So if a debtor owes something that can be divided, like money or rice, this is called divisible because you can pay or deliver the part of it at different times. For example po, if one owes Maria 100 sacks of rice, he could deliver 50 sacks first, then the rest later because rice can be divided. On the other hand, some things are indivisible, meaning they can be split off. If one owes Maria a house or a car, he can give her half of the house or car and fulfill his obligation. He has to deliver the whole thing because it would lose its value if divided. But what Article 1223 is really saying is that whether the thing is divisible or indivisible doesn't change the obligation.
Okay, very well said. So, I hope you got the idea of divisibility of an obligation. Okay, divisible obligation is capable of partial fulfillment, while indivisible is not capable of partial fulfillment. Okay. As mentioned by your classmate, by Miss Alberto, okay, example of a divisible obligation are um obligation to pay money. Okay, you can divide it. You can do partial fulfillment, for example. That's why yung iba, 'di ba, installment. Okay, say for example, you loan from a bank, okay, 1 million pesos, and then your monthly installment is 50,000. Okay, until you finish the whole 1 million pesos. So that's divisible because it's capable of partial fulfillment. What else? For example, um, obligation or contract to build a house. Okay, the contractor who is the debtor, okay, of course, it's obvious that he cannot complete the house in 1 day. So he can divide the completion into days, into weeks, into months. Okay, that's divisible obligation. What are example of indivisible obligation? For example, you contract of sale, okay? You buy a brand new car, okay? Of course, obviously, hindi mo pwedeng chop-chopin yung sasakyan, okay? Just to get the whole car. If you buy a car right there and then, you can get the brand new car. Okay, if not today, of course, yung iba kasi walang stock, i-order pa sa warehouse, etc. Okay, but the moment of completion, you must receive the whole car. That's indivisible obligation. Okay, what else could be an example? Yes.
Ma'am,
Someone is
excuse
trying.
po. Good morning
Mm-hmm.
po. Na-late po yung pag-accept sa join po sa call. Sophia
Because
Joyce Collado po.
yeah. I told Shulamite to tag you absent because it's late. I think you joined 10:46. Parang hindi
Kanina
ka
po naka-join po ako nung ano po, 10:30 po pero wala pa po.
wala pang nag-accept. Are you sure? Marami kayo nag-ano, si
Opo.
Mr. Sulit and I think si Miss Santos yon. In-accept ko sila. And then there are a couple of people na in-accept ko earlier before you. So, because naka-open sa akin yung right pane, so I know who's asking for admission. Okay, you can ask si Mr. Sulit ano oras ko sila in-admit and earlier meron pa isang late. So I believe I admitted everyone who joined right on time. Okay, so I cannot agree that you joined 10:30. Otherwise, I should be seeing you trying to join at 10:30. All right. What
Thank you
else?
po.
So that's indivisible obligation. All right. So, mhm, okay, what's important to note here? Normally, this is not a, ano naman, this is, hindi siya masyadong natatanong on the exam and even in the board exam because what's really tricky in the kind of obligation is the joint and solidary. And this one, it's very self and explanatory. Okay. Is an obligation or a fulfillment or performance of something capable of divisibility? If yes, then okay. Then if it's not, then you cannot do, partial fulfillment. All right. So we're done with divisible and indivisible obligation. We now proceed with obligation with a penal clause. Volunteer. Any volunteer? Okay. So obligation with a penal clause is simply termed as yung penalty. All right. If you will notice in a contract of loan, di ba, normally they have provision there that if the debtor is not able to pay on time or on due date, the debtor is liable to pay 2% penalty. Okay. So that's an obligation with the penal clause. Usually an obligation with the penal clause is a substitute for damages. Okay. Instead of dun sa contract ng loan na saying, if the debtor does not pay on time, the debtor is liable for damages of 10,000. Normally, hindi gano'n yung nababasa niya, right? Ang nababasa niya normally is is liable to pay 2% penalty or liquidated damages, compounded, etc., etc. Okay, that's an obligation with the penal clause. Okay, this is not illegal. Okay, it's not unlawful as long as the interest rate or the penalty is not unconscionable. What I'm trying to say. You're familiar with yung mga Bombay na to 5-6, right? Normally ang interest niyan 20%, 'di ba? So utang ka ng 10,000, what's 20%? 2,000. Sorry, yeah, 2,000. So by due date, kailangan mo bayad ng 12,000. Normally, they call it loan shark, 'di ba? What loan shark? Kasi para silang shark na nangangain kailangan mo na nga ng pera, okay? Pinatulan mo na nga yung Bombay tapos lalo ka pang ilulubog sa utang kasi sobrang laki ng interest nila. And mind you, okay, the market rate of interest or the market interest rate in the banks right now as implemented by or as dictated by Bangko Sentral is around 5 to 6%. Kaya kung mangungutang kayo sa bangko, normally ang rate niya 6%, 5.5, ganyan lang yung interest rate natin. Okay, but the Bombays, yung mga loan apps, right? Ang dami niya. They are charging you 20%. Okay, it's actually illegal because it's unconscionable. But it's kasi of course yung mga tao kasi nangungutang diyan, they badly needed the money and they have no choice. Papatulan nila yon kahit 20% interest pa yan because they need the money. Okay, so it's still lies yun dun sa papayag ka ba or not. Take it or leave it. Kung ayaw mo ng 20%, go leave it. You borrow from the bank or you borrow from someone else who does not give you a 20% interest. Otherwise, kung talagang kailangan mo pera, you have no choice. You have to pay the ano. Kaya normally nakikita natin mga nangungutang sa Bombay. I'm not sure, but I've known a lot of people na lalo lang sila nalulubog sa utang because of the 20% interest. Imagine 20% for 1 month. Okay? In 5 months time, nag 200% na yung utang mo. Okay? So your 10,000 after 5 months, 20,000 na. Okay? And another 5 months again, naging how much? That's our 30,000 na. 'Di ba? So ganun talaga sila. Loan shark talaga yung tawag sa kanila. Times 3 na after 10 months. Alright, so That's basically your obligation with the penal clause. Nothing very special here and not really as in the exam. Okay, we now go to chapter 4, extinguishment of obligations. All right. Article 1231 mentions 6 modes of extinguishment of obligations, and what are those? Yes, Mr. Reyes.
Ano po? Explanatory po ba?
Ikaw, kung anong
Ah,
gusto mong
sige.
isagot mo.
By exper
I am very,
by pay
sige.
by
Sige, go.
payment or performance. This refers to fulfilling the terms of agreement as agreed upon.
No,
Example
no.
po, if you borrow
No, no, no. Mr. Reyes, you have a choice not to discuss it. Just enumerate it.
sige po. By
Sige.
payment or performance, this refers
Mm.
to the fulfilling the terms or of
No,
agreement
no,
as
no.
agreed upon
Just
by
enumerate.
the yung
Just
anim lang po ano.
enumerate the six.
Sorry po
Yes. Just
kabado.
enumerate the six.
By the loss of
Okay.
the thing due, by the condonation or remission of the debt. Number 4, by the confusion or merger of the rights of the creditor and debtor. Number 5, by contention po.
Compensation.
Number 6,
Number
by
six.
innovation.
All right. So thank you, Mr. Reyes. There are other modes of extinguishment mentioned in your second paragraph: annulment, rescission, fulfillment, prescription. Okay, but the modes that we will discuss are the 6 modes. Okay, we now go to payment and performance. So payment, okay, 'di ba? At the beginning of this term, we discuss the requisites giving rise to the obligation. So that is your active subject, passive subject, the legal tie, juridical necessity. So those give rise to an obligation. The absence of one of the requisite will not produce an obligation. Okay, so now we discuss we discuss yung birth. We'll now go to the death of the obligation or your extinguishment. And one of those is the payment. Okay, so payment simply means the delivery of money. Okay, if it's an obligation to pay money, or the performance if it's not an obligation of money. So obviously, in a contract of loan, if you pay the loan with the corresponding interest and other charges, the obligation is extinguished. Okay. Now, there is no such thing as partial payment, okay, or partial performance. Of course, we can do that. But until and unless there has been a complete payment or performance, the obligation is not extinguished. Okay. So that is your payment or performance. Remember, it's not just payment, ha. It's also performance, like the contract of sale. Okay, that's performance because the seller has to deliver the car. Okay. So in payment, you just have to um Article 1233, I've mentioned that. Complete delivery or performance. Okay. And take note of Article 1235. Okay. If the obligee accepts the performance knowing it to be incomplete and then without any protest, the obligation is being complied with. Example. How what could be an example best? For example, an obligation to deliver 2 kavan of rice. Okay, on September 30. The debtor or the obligor deliver only 1 kavan. Okay, the obligee or the creditor did not react, hindi siya nag-protest. Okay, wala lang, tinanggap lang niya. Hindi siya nagreklamo. Okay. Even though it's incomplete or irregular performance. Okay. In that sense, the obligation is extinguished. Okay. Kaya kayo, kung may magbabayad sa inyo na kulang or na hindi niya nagustuhan yung quality, magreklamo kayo. Or you bring that up because otherwise, if you keep quiet, the debtor will assume na okay pala sa kanya, wala na akong utang. Okay pala sa kanya, hindi ko nade-deliver yung natitira kong utang. Okay, so that's your Article 1235. 1236, the creditor is not bound to accept performance or payment made by a third person. Ano? Made by a third person who has no interest in the fulfillment of an obligation. Okay, what does no interest means? Okay, for example, in a contract of loan, all right, normally if you have encountered merong guarantor in a contract of loan, right? What's the role of the guarantor? The guarantor guarantees that he will pay the obligation in case the principal debtor defaulted on payment. All right. In that sense, the guarantor is interested in fulfilling the obligation. Why? Kasi if the guarantor did not pay and the principal debtor did not pay also, hahabulin silang dalawa ni creditor. Alright. Whereas, compared to someone who has no interest in the obligation, for example, A, for example, si Jose owes Maria 5,000. And then Jose's mother, all right, who is neither a guarantor or surety. Okay. Example, si mother of Jose is trying to pay the creditor because uh Jose defaulted on the payment. Can you compel the creditor to accept the payment? No, because his mother, okay, Jose's mother does not have an interest in the fulfillment of the obligation. Why I said so? Yes, of course they are relatives, but if Jose cannot pay, can Maria go after the mother? No, because ang utang ni Jose ay utang lang ni Jose. Okay, unless the mother is a guarantor, then the mother can compel Maria to accept the 5,000. Otherwise, kung kahit nga asawa mo kung hindi mo naman kung hindi naman ginaranty ng asawa niya yung utang niya, the creditor cannot go after the husband or either the wife. Okay? So, the creditor cannot be compelled to accept performance or payment of a third person who does not have an interest in the obligation. Okay? That's Article 1236. Unless there's a stipulation to the contrary. Okay? Unless, for example, hindi ko guarantor si mother ko, but you can run after her if I am not able to pay. Pwede yun. Okay, so that's I think what's important to discuss in payment. You just read the rest of the provisions, okay, for your knowledge. But I think I highlighted, sorry. Okay. Sorry, that's for payment. We still have mga subsection kasi. Okay, we'll discuss them. Okay, anyone who knows the Sean and Pago or the Sean in payment? Okay. The Sean in payment is payment in kind. What does it mean? Okay. For example, Jose, okay, our example. Jose owes Maria 5,000 pesos. Okay. Due September 30. On September 30th, Jose, okay, does not have the 5,000 pesos, but instead tendered to Maria two kavan of rice. Two kavans of rice. Okay. Inaccept ni Maria. Okay. In that sense, even though the obligation is to pay a sum of money, but since Maria accepted the two kavan of rice, the obligation is deemed extinguished. Okay. You just substitute the kavan of rice, okay, as substitute to the sum of money. Okay. But you cannot force Maria to accept the two kavan of rice if you owe money. You cannot say to Maria, "Oh, ano na 'to, accept mo na 'tong two kavan of rice 'pag binili mo 'to sa palengke 6,000 equivalent nito." No. Okay, if Maria accepts, then okay, the obligation is extinguished. Or if Maria tells you, "Oh, Jose, wala ka namang 5,000 ngayon, bigyan mo na lang ako ng two kavans of rice." If Maria insisted, then okay, you can deliver two kavans of rice. Okay, then the obligation is extinguished, but you cannot compel the creditor to accept the two kavan of rice if your obligation is to deliver sum of money. Okay, that's Dashon and Pag. In application of payments, okay, you can just read this. You now go to subsection 2, payment by session. Okay, that's your Article 1255. What is payment by session? Payment by session, for example, the debtor owes the creditor sum of money. Now, by the time the obligation is due, the debtor does not have sum of money that the debtor has several properties. Okay, the debtor can assign his property to the creditor in payment of the debts. Okay, but ang ibabayad mo hindi yung property kasi that's tantamount to Dasyon and Pago. In payment by session, you will sell the property and the net proceeds will go to the debtor. Okay, to make it more clear, Jose owes 5,000 to Maria. On due date, Jose does not have 5,000, but Jose said, "Oh, I have a smartphone. Okay, I have a smartphone. I will assign it to you. I will sell it. Once I sold it, I will give the net proceeds to you." Okay, but the net proceeds is only up to the amount of the debt. Okay, it doesn't mean, syempre smartphone, wala man smartphone na 5,000, di ba? Assuming your smartphone is worth mm, 30,000. Okay, 30,000 lang value niya kasi 1 year na sa'yo. Okay, you're not obligated to pay the whole 30,000. Ang swerte naman ni Maria, di ba? Kung bibigay mo whole 30,000. You only give the up to the amount of your obligation to Maria. Okay, so if kung inassign mo yung smartphone, I will sell it, I'll give you the 5,000. Okay, obligation is extinguished. Okay, and then subsection 3, tender of payment and consignation, Article 1256. Okay, what does tender and consignation means? Okay, Jose owes Maria 5,000 on September 30, 2024. On September 30th, Jose went to the house of Maria to give the 5,000. So happened that Maria on September 30th is not at her home. Okay, she's out of the country. Probably she's in Hong Kong. Okay. Sabi niyo, tinawagan niya si Maria. Oh Maria, I already have the 5,000. Okay. But Maria said, "Oh, it's possible for me to accept the 5,000 because I am not in the Philippines right now. I will be back by October 2." Okay. Okay, okay si Jose. Come October 1, 2024, nasunugan ng bahay si Jose. Kasama yung 5,000. Okay. Is Jose considered, um, his obligation is considered fulfilled? No. Because pumayag siya. Okay. What could have done by Jose is, nung September 30, okay, he could have had consigned the 5,000 pesos in the court or to the court. Okay, anong meaning nun? Okay, nasa akin na yung 5,000. Okay, tinender mo yung payment kay Maria. Tinender, in-offer mo. Maria refused to accept. Ngayon, of course, you are the debtor, you want to protect yourself, okay? Kasi ready ka namang mag-comply with your obligation. It's just that hindi ready si creditor. So what you can do to protect yourself as the debtor, patago mo sa court, ipa-consign mo. Okay? Once the court accept it, correct, your obligation is extinguished. Even if Maria has not received the 5,000, because Maria now can collect the 5,000 from the court. Okay? Bakit may gantong batas? Of course, to protect yourself, okay, as the debtor. Because not at all times ready si creditor i-accept yung payment mo. Like, yun nga, nasa labas ng country si creditor or busy si creditor, hindi niya ma-receive yung payment mo. Okay, so what you can do is to tender and consign it before the court, okay? It's a prerequisite, you cannot go to the court directly na, okay, alam mong nasa Hong Kong si Maria. Hindi ko na bibigay kay Maria kasi imposible naman na ma-receive niya. I'll go directly to the court. No. Okay, you have to tender it first and then consign it before the court. Okay, if there is no tender of payment and you consign it directly to the court, okay, you're still liable. The obligation is not extinguished, okay? Malay ba ni Maria na kinonsign mo yan? Nung bumalik siya no October 2, sinisingil ka niya. Sasabihin niyo siya, "Eh, hindi, kunin mo dun sa RTC sa Quezon City, nandun na yung 5,000." No. Okay? You have the obligation to pay. Unlike pag tinender mo siya and kinonsign mo siya, si Maria yung pupunta sa court. But if you did not tender it to Maria and you consign it directly to the court, Maria is not obligated to go to the court to get it. Okay, so that's tender and consignation. Okay, you have in Article 1255, okay, whereby consignation shall produce the same effect. Meaning, hindi mo na siya kailangang i-tender. Pwede mo na siyang idiretso sa court. What are these? First, when the creditor is absent. Okay, paano mo nga naman iti-tender? Hindi mo nga alam kung nasan si creditor. Okay. Or when the creditor is incapacitated to receive. Say for example, nasa ospital si Maria, okay, na naka-confine siya, nasa ICU siya. So tendering the payment to Maria would be useless kasi hindi naman siya kayang i-receive ni Maria. So in that case, pwede mo i-consign directly. Patago mo na sa court. And once gumaling na si Maria, once she gets out of the hospital, Maria can get it before the court. Okay, what else? Without just cause, ayaw lang tanggapin ni Maria. Okay, he refuses to give a receipt. Okay, then when two or more persons claim the same right to collect. Okay, for example, nagbabayad ka kay Maria but at the same time yung kapatid ni Maria, alright, is trying to get the 5,000 also. Why? Because probably yung perang pinautang sa'yo ni Maria came from her sister. Hence, her sister is collecting the 5,000. Okay, if two or more persons are claiming the same right to collect, no need to tender. Kasi hindi mo nga alam kung kanino mo te-tender, kay Maria ba or sa kapatid. You can directly consign it before the court. And when the title of the obligation has been lost, this is applicable for negotiable instruments. Okay. Alright, so that's tender and consignation. I think we're pretty done with payment and performance. Any questions before we go to the next section? Loss of the Tinju. Okay, if no more question, we go to the loss of the Tinju. Okay, loss of the Tinju, we've discussed pretty much of this during the start of the subject matter. If you will try to remember yung fortuitous event, pag nawala yung thing, is they're still liable, 'di ba? If you will remember. So we've discussed much of it. Okay. So Article 1202, okay, an obligation which consists in the delivery of a determinating shall be extinguished if it's lost without the fault of the debtor and before incurred in delay. Okay. Okay, so we've mentioned the basic concept of no liability in case of fortuitous event. Okay, um that's basic. But there are qualifications. If the loss of the thing was due to fortuitous event, but before the fortuitous event, the debtor incurred in delay. Alright? Extinguish my liability? No. Why? Because even if hindi nangyari yung fortuitous event, it's impossible for the debtor to comply kasi nga delay na siya. In delay. Right? So take note of the effect of loss of a generic, alright, and specific thing. What we say about generic, the loss of a generic thing does not extinguish the obligation. Why? Because took a van of rice. Okay. Pwede mo naman palitan niya ng another kavan. Alright. Unlike if the thing that is lost is Toyota car with plate number ABC123. If that is lost, okay, you cannot substitute it with any other car with the same plate number. Okay, take note of the effect of loss of a generic or specific thing. Okay, and along with that, you have to correlate that to if the thing is lost with or without fault of the either debtor or creditor. All right. So any question before we proceed? Okay, medyo mabilis guys because we need to finish. Okay. But to be fair, the things that are topics that we discussed today, okay, yung mga matatanong lang sa exam are those na dinidiscuss ko. Okay. But also take note of the articles that I mentioned. Okay. Even though I did not discuss it in detail, some of it will be asked. Okay. So don't worry. You just have to listen. Okay. I mean, of course, not just listen. Hindi naman lahat, kung ano yung sinabi ko, yun yung tatanong ko. You have to read between the lines. O hindi naman to na-discuss ni ma'am. Of course, hindi yung saktong-saktong diniscuss ko. Okay. Yung matatanong. Okay. But the basic idea, I've discussed it. Okay. Okay, we now go to condonation or remission of debt here, section 3, article 12.7. The condonation or remission is gratuitous abandonment of obligation, or in simplest term, donation. Okay. So Jose owes Maria 5,000. Maria said, oh, you don't need to pay the 5,000. It's yours now. Okay. The obligation is extinguished. That's donation. Okay. But be careful kasi donation has donor's tax, 'di ba? I don't know if you have tax subject already, but it has tax implication. Okay. Condonation or remission must be gratuitous, meaning walang kapalit. Okay, because if it has something to be exchanged for, it's not condonation. Example, sabi ni Maria, okay, don't pay me the 5,000. Just clean or just repaint my house. Is that condonation? No, it's gratuitous. Okay, it's not gratuitous rather because may kapalit siya. Condonation must be gratuitous, okay, walang kapalit, right? It must be accepted by the obligor, okay? Kasi, of course, we all want free, right? Free something, gustong-gusto natin yan. But for some reason, it must be accepted by the obligor. Say, for example, you say, oh, Maria 5,000. Maria said, oh, don't pay me the 5,000. It's yours. Jose can refuse. Why? Probably, ayaw ni Jose na magkautang na loob kay Maria. Okay? So, even if the 5,000 is donated by Maria, Jose has to accept the donation. Okay, kasi may sentimental reason bakit ayaw i-accept ni Jose. Yun nga, ayaw niya magkautang na loob or what. Okay, so in that case, if it's accepted by the debtor, the obligation is extinguished. Okay, so there are other requisites mentioned in your book for condonation or for a remission to extinguish an obligation. We've discussed the two, gratuitous, accepted by the obligor. The parties must have capacity, meaning um the they are capable of entering into a contract. Okay, kasi possible yung isa minor. Okay, yung isa um is considered ayan, other guardianship. Okay, those are under the law incapacitated to enter into a contract. Okay. We'll discuss that later when we go to contracts. Okay. Fourth requisite must not be inefficacious and must be made expressly. Hindi pwede nag-assume lang siya. Okay. Yun lang naman important for condemnation. Must be gratuitous. Alright. We now go to confusion or merger. Anyone wanted to discuss this? For the prelim who don't have yet a prelim grade. Confusion or merger. I don't have kasi yung index card so I cannot see. But if you're someone who alam mo sa sarili mo na you don't have prelim grade yet, this is the opportunity for you to have a grade. Otherwise, get a feeling grade in your prelims. So anyone, I'm expecting those na wala pang prelims. I'm not sure if natawag ko na kasi kailan. Ang sure ko lang na natawag ko lahat is the BSA 2A because 17 lang sila sa class. In fact, parang nakailang round of recitation na kami. Tatlo? Parang natawag ko na sila lahat ng 3 beses dahil very konti lang sila. So it's very likely talaga na matawag ko sila lahat in one meeting. So as for you, since ang dami niyo, I'm pretty sure marami pa akong dinatawag dito and this is the opportunity for you. So any volunteer? No volunteer? Hindi kayo umabot sa part na to?
Hanggang chapter 4 lang po, section 1. Yun lang po yung naabot.
Chapter 4.
Opo,
That's
section
the,
1 po.
yeah, because that's the assignment. But no one did advanced reading?
Ni-review ko po buong article eh.
Okay. That's all right, Miss Reyes. Anyway, you have a grade already. Sige. Confusion or merger. Okay. This is where the characters of the debtor and the meeting of the characters of debtor and creditor in one, the meeting of their characters into one person. Okay. What could be an example? Example? Anyone wanted to give an example? Yes, Miss Obina.
Try lang po. For example, Sarah owes 1K or 1,000 pesos to her uncle John. Sadly, John passes away and Sarah inherits all of his assets, including the 1,000 Sarah owed him. Because
Mm.
Sarah is now both the creditor, inheriting John's money, and the debtor, owing John the 1K or the 1,000 pesos, the debt is automatically extinguished. There's no longer anyone to pay and no one to be paid.
All right. Very good, Miss Obina. So, to simplify, right? For example, Jose and Maria. Jose is the son and Maria is the grandmother of Jose. Okay? So, si Jose nangutang siya sa lola niya ng 10,000. Okay. Unfortunately, namatay si Maria, the lola. Okay. So, the lola has several properties, including bank accounts. Okay. In your law of succession, the apo is one of the heirs of the lola. So, syempre, maghahatian na ng yaman, etc., etc. Si Jose, after computation, will receive 20,000 from her lola as his mana. Okay? Now, Jose can offset the 10,000 na utang niya kay lola niya before mamatay. So, he can receive the net of 10,000. Okay? In that sense, in accounting, parang nagkaroon ng offset. Okay? Nag-compensate yung dalawang utang. Okay? So, that's compensation and merger. Okay? That's why it's called merger. Nagkaroon ng characters na debtor and creditor with respect to the same obligation. Do not confuse it with the next mode, which is confusion or merge. Sorry. Ano ba tayo? Sorry, that's confusion or merger. Do not confuse it with compensation. Compensation, this is where two persons become debtors and creditors of each other. Okay? For example, Jose owes Maria 5,000. In return, Maria owes Jose 3,000. Okay? Pwede nilang i-offset yung up to the amount of 3,000. In that sense, Jose still owes Maria 2,000. Okay? So, do not confuse with confusion or merger with compensation. Okay? So, you have there in Article 1279, the requisites for compensation. Okay? I hope class you're following. Okay. So that's why I'm not forcing you to recite because I know this is not one of your examples, but I'm just encouraging people who does not have recitation to participate because it's their chance to have a prelim grade. But I'm not calling people forcefully because I know this is not part of your assignment, but this is part of the coverage. That's why I'm just discussing to you, but I hope you're following. Okay. So in Article 1279, you have here there the requisites for compensation to take place. Number one, that each one of the obligor be bound principally. What does it mean? Jose owes Maria 5,000. Okay. The guarantor of the obligation is, say, Pedro. Okay. And then Maria owes Pedro 3,000. Okay. Can compensation takes place? No. Because as mentioned, the parties must be bound principally. Sino ba yung debtor? Sino ba yung creditor in the second scenario? It's Pedro, it's not Jose. So hindi pwede offset ni Maria yung utang niya kay Pedro just because Pedro is the guarantor of the first debt. Okay? The scenario should be Jose owes Maria 5,000, Maria owes Pedro. Owes Jose. Okay? The guarantor, okay, cannot offset, cannot take place in a compensation because the law says they must be bound principally. Okay? Number two, that both debts consist in a sum of money. Okay, dapat kung money yung utang, money din yung i-compensate. Or if it's consumable, they are both consumable. Hindi pwedeng Jose owes Maria 5,000, Maria owes Jose to Cavan of us. Can you compensate it? No. If it's both debts, yes. If it's debt and a thing, no. If it's a thing and a thing, yes. Okay. Number three, that the two debts are due or be due. Jose owes Maria 5,000 due September 30, 2024. Maria owes Jose 5,000 due December 31, 2024. Can you offset? No. Kasi hindi pa due yung kay Maria. Okay. Jose should pay on September 30th, 2024, and then Maria should pay Jose on this December 31st. Hindi pwede sabihin, offset na lang tayo. No, because hindi pa naman due yung kay Maria. Maria has the luxury of time until December 31 to pay Jose. Alright, number four, that they be liquidated and demandable. And number five, that neither of them there be any retention or controversy. Okay? Like yung for example, natin kanina, Jose owes Maria 5,000. Maria owes Jose another 3,000. But the money that Maria lends to Jose came from her sister. Now, her sister is saying, "Oy, Jose, sa akin mo bayaran yung 3,000 because that money came from me." Okay? If there is such thing na may third person na nagki-claim or na started a controversy, compensation cannot take place. Okay? Because as we mentioned, going back to number one principle or requisite, they must be bound principally to each other. Okay, so that's the basic idea of compensation. Mhm. Take note of Article 1282. Okay, the parties may agree upon compensation of debts which are not yet due. Kasi 'di ba, one of the requisites they are not yet due. But the provision of law provided an example where it can compensation can take place even if the debts are not yet due, if the party stipulated so. Okay. What else? Okay, we're done with compensation. Any question? Okay. Want to take a break or you want to continue? Actually, novation na lang siya. Last topic. So let's finish this now. Okay, so novation. Anyone can define what novation is as a mode to extinguish an obligation. Volunteer. Okay, so no volunteer. Novation is the partial or total extinguishment of an obligation by creating a new one. Okay, there are three modes of novation that are mentioned in Article 1291. First is changing the object or the principal condition of the obligation. Okay, what could be an example? Okay, Jose owes Maria 5,000. Okay. Sabi ni Maria, "Oh, wag na lang 5,000 bigay mo sa akin, 2 cavans of rice na lang." Did novation takes place? Yes. Because they changed the object of their obligation. Instead of money, they make rice na lang. Okay. Upon delivery of rice, is the obligation extinguished? Yes. Kasi chinage na nila yung subject eh. Maria cannot later on claim na, oo, may utang ka pa rin ng 5,000 sa akin kasi hindi ka naman nagbayad. No, because they novated their obligation such that their object was changed to Kavan of rice. Okay. Number two, substituting the person of the debtor. Okay. Jose owes Maria 5,000. Okay. Sabi ni Jose, Maria, instead of me paying you 5,000, Pedro will pay you 5,000. After Pedro paid Maria 5,000, is the obligation extinguished? Yes, because there has been a substitution in the person of the debtor. Maria cannot later on go against um Jose to collect the 5,000 kasi nagkaroon na sila ng novation. Okay? Pag nagbayad na si Pedro, Maria can no longer collect from Jose. And the third one is subrogation in the rights of the creditor. Okay. It's the same as number two. This time lang, you're changing or you're putting someone in the rights of the creditor. So, instead of Maria receiving the 5,000, sabi niya kay Jose, Jose, pay my sister na lang 5,000. Okay, I am subrogating my sister as the creditor. So, after payment ni Jose dun sa sister ni Maria, the obligation is extinguished. Okay, so that's your novation. So, remember that novation is creating a new obligation. Okay, how? By changing the sub-object or by substituting the person of the debtor or by subrogating a third person in the rights of the creditor. Okay? Mhm. What to ano here? Study Article 1293. Novation, which consists in substituting a new debtor in the place of the original one, may be made even without the knowledge or against the will of the latter, but not without the consent of the creditor. Okay? So, di ba yung second mode of novation natin, substituting a person in place of the original debtor. Okay? In here, it says, pwedeng palitan si debtor even without the knowledge of the original debtor. Okay? But not without the consent of the creditor. Okay? So, kung may ipapasok kang new debtor, dapat alam ni creditor. You cannot do that without the consent of the creditor. Kailangan mong ipaalam. Okay? Kasi, why? So that the creditor will know kanino siya maniningil. Eh kung hindi alam ni creditor na pinalitan pala ni si Pedro pala ang magbabayad. How can Maria know if her consent was not secured? Okay? Article 1294. If the substitution is without the knowledge or against the will of the debtor, the new debtor's insolvency or non-fulfillment of the obligation shall not give rise to any liability on the part of the original debtor. Okay? So, for example, um, pinalitan si debtor. Okay, nang di niya alam. And then, yung new debtor pala hindi nakabayad. Okay? The debtor will not have any liability as to the liability created by the new debtor. Okay? So that's Article 1294. Take note of that. Okay, we're done. I've given you the basic idea and the Article 2 further study. Any question? So your midterms coverage is the whole obligation. So that's from the general provision, nature and effect, different kinds of obligation, and extinguishment of obligation. So for chapters. Okay. Your exam will be essay type. Okay. That's 10 question. 10 to 12 questions, 10 points each. So kung 10 questions, sorry, kung 10 questions, 10 points each. Kung 12, so I will have to make adjustment do sa other question. But it will basically be around 10 to 12, but not max of 15. And then essay type. So what could be, di ba I told you na how should be answered? For example, the question is, okay, there's a situation, the question is A liable? Okay. A mere answer of yes or no does not count. Okay. You have to support your answer with the provisions of the law. So you do not have to cite according to Article 1231, debtor is etc. etc. No, you do not need to memorize provisions of the law. Neither you have to um state the article number. It will not impress me. Okay, what will impress me is that you understand the law. For example, A is A liable? Yes. Under the law, A is liable because debtor, because A incurred in delay. Okay. And sorry, bubble na ako. Is A liable? Yes. Okay, A, yes, tuldok doon. A is liable because he incurred in delay. Under the law, period ulit doon. Under the law, a debtor who incurred in delay, even if fortuitous event happened, is still liable. That's it. Three sentence answer. Okay. That answer is 10 points. Okay. Kung ang sagot mo is no, okay, but your basis, na-defend mo naman yung answer mo, bakit no, I'll still give you credit. Even if mali yung no, sa no pa lang mali ka na. Okay. Because even if your answer is correct, but you supported your answer with the provision of the law, and I think na talagang naintindihan mo, you still get credit. Okay, so huwag kayong mag-memorize ng provisions, huwag kayong mag-memorize ng article number, it will not count. What will count really is how you will apply the knowledge of the law into a certain problem. Okay, so Shulamat has to update me by Monday or Tuesday. What's the time of the exam? Where is the room? If the faculty needs anything from me, kung may kailangan akong sagutan na form, etc., just to request for a room, let me know. Okay? Bring yellow paper because doon kayo sasagot. I will give you questionnaires in bond paper, but the question will be written in yellow paper. Okay? So what else? Any more questions? Yes, Miss Ilana.
Ma'am, hanggang saan po ang scope no midterm?
The whole obligation until extinguishment. yung diniscuss natin today until novation. Okay. Sa finals, our coverage will be contracts. That's why pinilit kong tapusin yun yung obligation. Alright, so if no more question, okay, Alberto got 5, Reyes got 5, and Obina got 5 for the recitation today. Right. No question on that because I encourage volunteer and I'm very generous for those who volunteer. I mention that always. Okay, any more questions, clarifications? The rest of the instruction in the exam will be given on the exam date. All right. So if no more question, good luck on the exam, study well, and pray. Okay? No more questions? If no more, we'll end the session from here and we'll see you